Cousin Charlie is the 12th episode of the 3rd season of the Doris Day Show, and this one's pretty good. I wasn't sure how much I'd love it to begin with, as I wasn't sure if I'd like Cousin Charlie, but I'd say after about 5 minutes, I really warmed to the character, and there's one quote in this that I absolutely love. It's got such a great message. Obviously, this is about Doris's cousin Charlie, a character played by Van Johnson, and at the very beginning of the episode, he visits Doris. It starts off immediately with cousin Charlie visiting, and Billy and Toby get on very well with him. He's very irresponsible, though. We learn quite quickly that he hasn't been in touch with Doris for 4 years, and he goes from job to job, just floating around, drifting through life, and he takes Billy and Toby out of school one lunchtime without Doris's knowledge to go to a ball game. So he's a very fun-loving, free spirit, but Doris kind of thinks that he maybe needs to start thinking about setting down some roots, and she helps him get a job in sales. And although Charlie was a bit reluctant, he agrees to give it a go, and to begin with, he's not very good at it, but over time, he actually becomes very much interested in his career, and he becomes consumed by it. And these are spoilers, of course, for things that happen later on in the episode, but as the episode progresses, he becomes all about this career, and he actually kind of shouts at Billy and Toby at one point, which is not very nice. But I love Billy and Toby being in this. We don't get to see them that much in these last few episodes, so it's quite nice that they get plenty of screen time here. And clearly, he has changed. This job has changed him, and we have this wonderful quote. And he says, "I've gone from a happy failure to a miserable success." And I think that that's so moving and thought-provoking that in the blink of an eye, he has lost who he was as a person because he's done what society, and I guess Doris, has told him he should be doing. And as a society, we don't think that a person should be a free spirit going from job to job. We are conditioned to set down roots, do the 9 to 5, and, as he says, become a miserable success. Not that everybody who's successful is miserable, but I do feel like there's something very thought-provoking about that. Definitely some food for thought. And I genuinely don't know what I'd rather. Would I rather be a happy failure or a miserable success? And quite frankly, I feel like I'd rather be a miserable success, which again is very telling about how we're conditioned to think and what we're told to prioritize as a society. And even though when this was released in the 1970s, well, that's kind of depressing actually, to think that nothing has changed. Maybe some things have changed. Working life is definitely different now. We get a lot more flexibility. We get a lot of work from home, and the types of jobs people can do are very different. But certainly, at the end of the day, we're still told that what we need to do in life is get a job, earn some money, pay the bills. And for Charlie, that's just not what he's all about. And I rather liked the direction the character took after he had that realization. And I thought it was very eye-opening for that kind of lifestyle. I haven't watched this and then immediately thought, actually, I'm going to change everything about my life and I'm going to be more like Charlie. But at the same time, I think it's definitely something we all need to consider. Are we happy doing what we do, or do we do it because it's what society tells us? And is there room to be more like Charlie? I feel like if we all behaved like Charlie, the world would descend into even more chaos than it's already in. Because we need order, we need structure, we kind of need that mundane 9 to 5. But if that's at the expense of mental health, is it worth it? There is no answer to that, of course. But these are questions that I felt when watching this episode, and I rather enjoyed the process. Charlie is a really great character, very likeable, and interestingly, he was more likeable before he took the job, which again is very telling. So I had a lot of fun with this. I found it to be very thought-provoking. We get a great amount of Toby and Billy. We get a little bit of Myrna. I love Myrna as a character, I've mentioned before. I would have liked a little bit more of her here, but it's not a Myrna story, so I can make peace with that. And ultimately, I thought Cousin Charlie was a brilliant episode. And I don't know if we ever see the character again, but if we do, I'd be pretty happy about that. Great episode, great character, very thought-provoking. I'm pretty happy with this one.